All right, everybody. Welcome to our July Lunch and Learn. My name is Rae Glaser. I'm with the New York State Kinship Navigator program. Just a reminder to everybody on the call, you are on mute. So if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to drop them in the chat feature. We will do our best to answer them at the end of the session. If we run out of time, we will have those questions recorded and we can get those out to everybody via email. We're going to be doing it a little bit differently today. Usually I'm on screen and I'm sharing my screen and giving you information about the Navigator. But everybody on the call actually knows all about the Navigator, and I want to allow time for our wonderful presenters to give information on their program. So just a reminder again, you're muted. This will be recorded. The recording and all handouts and links from the presentation will be made available within a week of today's call. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Haley from Empire Justice to give us an overview of services. Over to you, Haley.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Haley Kulakowski, and I am a staff attorney at Empire Justice Center. And so today we were just hoping to give you like a little brief overview of some of the services that Empire Justice does. We do a lot of good work in a lot of different fields. And so today I brought on two of my colleagues and different units who can talk to you about just some of the different services we do. And I know that we have a part 2 coming up soon, which can even give you more information about other services we provide as well and other projects we're working on. But really quickly, let me just give you like a brief intro into like what Empire Justice is. So Empire Justice is a nonprofit law firm. We serve the entire state, and our mission is to make the law work for all New Yorkers, and especially those who need protection most. And we kind of have an interesting perspective. We try to take a 360-degree approach, we say, to kind of change the systems and change the law to make it sure that it is working for all New Yorkers. And so the way we do that is we teach the law, we provide trainings, we give technical assistance to legal services and other organizations. We also practice the law. We often provide direct civil legal services to people. And we also try to change the law by, engaging in policy, we lobby, advocacy, and we also do impact litigation as well, where we do like larger class actions where we just try to change the law to make sure that it's working better for everyone, and especially people experiencing poverty and all these, we'll talk about it, but all the different units that we're in. So what I'll do is I'll give you a little brief intro into some of the work I'm doing, and then I'll have my colleagues introduce themselves too, and give you a little heads up about the project we're each going to be talking about. And then we can just dive right in. So again, I'm Haley. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a part of the public benefits unit at Empire Justice. So the work that we do is in regards to a lot of different types of public benefits, including like public assistance or cash assistance, or SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which was formerly known as food stamps, different programs like that. And so a lot of the work we do is in policy and impact litigation. And the project today I'm specifically here to talk to you guys about is called Fair Hearing Help New York. And it's a website that kind of gives a lot of information about fair hearing. So you'll hear from me about that. And then I'll let Alexia introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Alexia Michaels, she, her pronouns, and I'm a senior attorney with our health law unit in Rochester. And I will let Jackie introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Jackie Siegman. I'm the program and marketing manager of the Crime Victims Legal Network, which is a program at Empire Justice as well.
Okay, great. So I'll dive in, start talking about my project, but I see some people are introducing themselves in the chat. Hi, that's great. It's nice to meet you all.
Yeah, thanks, Haley. And then just to jump in really quickly before you go on, thank you for that piece. There will be a part 2 of this series with more services provided by Empire Justice in August. That'll be August 15th at noon. I missed that in my information in the very beginning, but just, there's so many services provided by this agency that it was tough to fit it all into one session. Back over to you, Haley.
Okay, great. So let me just share my screen. I prepared a very small presentation just to help frame our conversation. Okay. Is this looking good to everybody? Okay, perfect. So like I said, the project I just wanted to talk to y'all about today is called Fair Hearing Help New York. And it is like a free website with a lot of information about fair hearings that we've developed in partnership with the New York Legal Assistance Group and Legal Aid Society and Columbia Law School. So I think first, let's start with what is a fair hearing. So what is this website about? So fair hearings are when a applicant or recipient of public benefits receives some kind of adverse decision. So for example, let's say you applied for public assistance and you were denied, or you've been receiving SNAP and all of a sudden your SNAP benefits have been discontinued or reduced. You have the opportunity to, when you receive that decision, to challenge it and bring it in front of like a neutral administrative law judge and explain to them why you think that decision was wrong. So so you can, if you ask for a fair hearing within the timeframes, you must receive one. And it's just really, yeah, this opportunity for you to explain why you think it could be incorrect. And if the judge agrees with you that what the decision that you received was incorrect, your benefits can be restored or your application can be approved, and really reverse kind of that adverse decision that you've received. So here we have a quick little graphic explaining kind of how a fair hearing works. First, an administrative law judge, begins it, introduces the issue. The agency, so the person who would be giving you an adverse decision would be the county, right? Like your local district. So the local district will have a representative who will explain why they made that decision, and then it'd be your turn to explain why you think that decision's wrong. So that's just a really brief intro to like what is a fair hearing. But why we really created this website is that most people who request a fair hearing are actually navigating that process on their own, and it can be really kind of complicated and difficult. So it's an estimated 97% of people aren't represented by counsel when they go through the fair hearing process. And so the goal of this project is just to offer more information for people who are kind of going through this process on their own on how to best go through a fair hearing and also make sure that they really understand what their rights are in a fair hearing. So this project kind of came out of a former project called Project Fair that was happening in New York City. And before COVID, fair hearings actually were held in person. And so Project Fair would have attorneys or advocates located at the office. And if you had a fair hearing, you could go, ask this attorney or advocate a quick question before you went in, just to have some more information before you went into a fair hearing. But now that they're not in person, we kind of thought developing this website would be great for people across the state to be able to access this resources and just have some more information about how to do these fair hearings. Also, since fair hearings used to be in person, now they're over the phone, that's also tricky to navigate in other ways too. There's like really unique challenges with it being over the phone. In some ways it can be great, but in some ways I think it's created some new challenges. And so this website called Fair Hearing Help New York has so much information on it. We, if you know someone who needs to request a fair hearing, if you are going through the process, we highly encourage you to just take a look, or just take a look just so you have this information in the future if you're someone who is currently a recipient of public benefits. But we have information like the fair hearing timeline. What are the steps that you need to go through to go through a fair hearing and be successful? We also have frequently asked questions, information on procedures if you're in New York or if you're in the rest of state. There's just so much information on there. So let me just, instead of me just telling you what's on there, why don't I just show you our website? So this here's the website. It's you're able to access it in different languages as well. But we have information on fair hearings. We also have some brief information about benefits eligibility, or at least where you can find more information on whether or not you might be eligible for specific benefits. But really the big information on here, there's so much, but again, like I said, there's this fair hearing timeline that helps walk you through the different steps. with some frequently asked questions. We also have information about how to prepare for a fair hearing, how the fair hearing works. So just tips to remind you about when it's your turn to make your case and how best to make your case. And then lastly, there's information around what to do after a fair hearing and also tips on how to request a fair hearing if you would like to do so in person, if you need to request an interpreter, or if you need any other kind of accommodations. So that's just a brief overview of our website. And again, here's my contact information. I can throw it in the chat too. If you're checking out, you have any questions about the website, feel free to contact me. If you are looking through the website and you are thinking there's some information that's missing, please let me know. You know, this is kind of a project that we're still like working and developing on too. And so if there's anything that comes to mind that you think is missing, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So
Haley, there's actually a question in the chat.
oh, great.
You have information on fair hearings for MLTC home care hours. Is this the same across the board?
That's a great question. And I'm so happy you asked because I'm going to be passing that off to Alexia, who's in our health law unit, who has a lot more information about those specific types of hearings.
Yeah.
It's almost like we placed a bug in the audience to
I
move it right on to
know.
Alexia. So thank you
Yeah,
for
is
that
that-
question.
I mean, Haley, I don't want to cut you off short though. I want to give you a second to wrap up, and do you want to leave your, okay. Okay,
that
cool.
was perfect. Wrapped up.
That was an amazing segue. Great question. For those who aren't aware, MLTC stands for Managed Long-Term Care. It is a type of Medicaid plan for individuals in New York State who need long-term services and supports. My name is Alexia Michaels. I'm a senior attorney in our health law team. And the amazing website that Haley was just sharing, it does include all this, it's the same procedures and same tips for Medicaid beneficiaries as well. Specific information for individuals who are enrolled in an MLTC plan or having issues enrolling in an MLTC plan. I'd encourage you to reach out for assistance. I will share my screen in just a second so you can get our contact info. And I will explain a little bit about what we do. But yes, that website does also apply to Medicaid managed long-term care plans, also Medicaid managed care plans. It is an amazing website. We refer our clients there all the time, even if we are representing them at the hearing, because it's a great tool to just introduce the process to people, because it really is a very unusual process to go through a fair hearing, and to not really know what to expect can be really difficult, especially for it being a phone call hearing for the most part at this time. So yes, hopefully that answered the question, and I would just encourage you to reach out to us for assistance, or I will also give you the name of another agency that specializes in MLTC enrollment. I could do that once I'm done talking, in case that's useful. But I am going to share my screen now, and hopefully you can see my, perfect, thank you. I saw a thumbs up. So health insurance issues, that is what our health team does. We are solely located in the Rochester office, but our grants fund us to work with individuals outside New York City. So what we call quote unquote rest of state. So if you reside outside New York City, we can assist you with health insurance issues. And if you or someone you know resides in New York City, please still reach out to us. We can direct you to some of our partner agencies that are fantastic down there. Basically, we help with anything related to a health insurance issue. What does that mean? So I always like to start a little bit quickly about a few things that we don't do. Unfortunately, we're not able to assist with any HIPAA issues. Again, unfortunately. We also don't handle any personal injury or medical malpractice issues. I know that sounds a little bit related. Someone possibly being in a nursing home or a facility or a hospital, and they have an injury now, so they might reach out to us because it seems like something we might do. We can help you file complaints against providers and against your managed care, your health insurance plan, or maybe even the entity that you were residing in at the time. But that would be the extent of what we're able to do. We would refer you to a medical malpractice attorney if you had further questions. We also cannot assist with powers of attorney, guardianships, or estate plannings, or enrolling in coverage. But we can tell you some suggestions of where to go. So I know that sounds really limiting as to what we don't do. Any issue that arises once you're enrolled in health coverage, or if you've got questions about eligibility, then we can help answer questions. Anything related to Medicare, Medicaid, Child Health Plus, that's a public health insurance program for children under the age of 19. The Essential Plan is another public health insurance program for those with slightly higher incomes than Medicaid allows. And then for your private health plan, for your employer-sponsored plan, or the plan that you purchase yourself out of pocket, a commercial plan, as we would call it. If you've got questions about that, if you've got questions about what's covered, what's not, if you're having an issue with a barrier to accessing care, your doctor says you need this procedure, your doctor says you need this medication, your plan is not allowing that to be covered, they are not approving, reach out to us. We can see if there's something we can do to help you. We do appeals all the time. Denials of services, denials of equipment. These are all things we've worked on in the past. And then a lot of billing issues. Believe it or not, surprisingly, our health insurance world is not the smoothest. So if you've got multiple forms of coverage, let's say you're working, but you're over 65, maybe you're also on Medicare, maybe you're also on Medicaid. The way that those in coverages interact, sometimes that causes an issue with the provider, they're not billing properly. All of those things you can reach out to us with questions about. Like I said, if we don't have an answer or if we cannot assist directly, we usually can give you some suggestions on where to go. We do fair hearings, like we talked about. We do Medicaid fair hearings on a case-by-case basis. So if you've got questions about that, we also can advise you if you're interested in pursuing a fair hearing on your own. We can give you some advice possibly about how to do that or how to do any other kind of appeal on your own. Whether it's a Medicare appeal, whether it's an external appeal through the Department of Financial Services. Basically, we're here to help answer any health insurance questions you may have. And I believe that's all I wanted to share with you, just to leave our contact info up there. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you've got questions. There's no question too small. Really, health insurance is complicated, and I tell people this all the time. I can't help but think they make it that way on purpose. So please feel free to reach out to us. And if you've got any questions, I'll look at the chat once I stop sharing my screen.
That's
I
okay.
will pass it.
I'll read it off to you. Like, see, we do
Oh,
have one
great.
question. Are you the representatives for the Western New York area as well, like Buffalo, Amherst, Cheektowaga, Towanda? You mentioned Rochester.
Yes, that's correct. So we are located physically in Rochester, but we are funded to work with and assist people with questions throughout the entire state, as long as you don't live in New York City. So yes, we can help you if you reside in the Western New York area. Also, if you were interested, maybe there's a particular agency in that area that specializes in something that's more unique to your situation, or you're interested in just going to an office closer to you, we've got a lot of partner agencies in the Western New York area too. So if that's helpful. So I see the questions in the chat, and I will share a couple of agencies information. One of them is going to be ICANN, the Independent Consumer Advocacy Network. They help you enroll and manage long-term care plans. I'll share that information, and I will share our partner agencies in New York City as well. I'll put that in the chat while Jackie is giving her presentation, if that's helpful. And I think that was it.
Alexia, there's one other question, and I'm not sure if this is part of your work, but they asked are y'all the representatives who are enrolled in adult day programs as well? Is that part of some of the coverage work you do, or does that seem like a separate program?
So that's a really good question. Enrolling in an adult day program, that's going to be part of your care plan, depending. So that's adult day programs are for adults who are either living with disabilities or with who are over a certain age and they just require some special time outside the home, and it's helpful for them to be in sort of a social setting. It's a way to offer, it's a long-term service and support. It's usually provided by your managed long-term care plan or your PACE plan. I won't go in depth as to what a PACE plan is, but if you've got questions on them. But yes, we don't help, we cannot really necessarily help you enroll in that. But if there's issues that arise related to your hours, your home care hours, and this is all part of your home care hours, then you can reach out to us. And even if you are considering, and if you're looking to enroll, we still might know where to send you. So I would encourage you to reach out to our email with more specific questions, and we can help you offline if that's useful.
I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Everyone see that? Yes, okay, good to go. Okay, so my name is Jackie. I'm the program and marketing manager of the Crime Victims Legal Network at Empire Justice Center. And we're kind of an oddball. We are a weird program. We don't really fit the mold. So we don't do direct services. A part of our program, we help attorneys who help crime victims. And then the second prong to our program is this website, New York Crime Victims Legal Help, which is for victims of crime to receive help finding information regarding their civil legal needs. So I'm just going to deep dive into the website. If you have questions, put them in the chat. There's a lot of information on this website, so I don't want to overwhelm you. I'm sure the link will be emailed out as well. So the first part is our legal help directory, which is broken down by every county in the state. So I'm just going to go with Monroe County. That's where we are. And then a legal issue. So I mean, you can take your pick, but just for time sensitivity, I'll just do child support. And then it will populate legal organizations in that area based on the topic you picked. So Restore, the Legal Aid Society of Rochester, Shalom Task Force, and Just Cause. And you'll notice that the top three have this partner badge. That just means that they receive the same funding as us. They're part of the Crime Victims Legal Network, and they should have someone on staff that can help immediately. So there's actually a direct email link, so you can click that and immediately reach out to someone at that organization. You can click Learn More, and it'll tell you information about that website, contact information, a map. Go back. And then it also links out to information on the site regarding the topic that you searched. So I searched child support. So if I go to the Know Your Rights section, it'll bring up information right on child support. And our website is at like a 5th grade reading level. So it's very basic information, plain language. And we often link out to other resources. And yeah, so that was the legal help directory. And then I'll just go back to the Know Your Rights section. We have 9 buckets of topics. It's a lot. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of information here. Victim rights overview, family law, safety, orders of protection, extremist orders of protection, eviction, foreclosure, immigration, LGBTQ, employment. So let's just say you had questions on identity theft. We go in, explain what it is, again, at a really basic level, and some advice on maybe where you should go for help. And yeah, it's very extensive, I will say that. Again, that's for civil legal needs, so it's not criminal needs. We have links on the side here if you want to get connected to criminal court information. That's the Know Your Rights section. Again, browse at your own leisure. I won't overwhelm you. And then the next section is the Victim Compensation Guide. So before I started this job, I had no idea what victim compensation is. So if you are a crime victim in New York State, you may be eligible for victim compensation. And it's through the Office of Victim Services, who this program is funded by. So we created this guide because, of course, applying for victim compensation is never easy through the state of New York. And we worked with OVS to create this guide. So we offer tips on how to apply, the information you will need, timeline, general tips, reminders. It's, again, pretty extensive information. So that's broken down on preparing to file a claim, and after you file, to sort of make it easier to navigate. And then we also created, on top of all of that, people were confused on what type of claim to apply for. So we created an app for that. And hopefully you can see this. Can you see this page? Cool. It's pretty much a guided interview. So it'll ask questions on, see, one of the biggest reasons people are denied victim compensation is because they applied for the wrong claim. So this will take you through questions. Let's just say I'm a DV victim. It took place in New York State. I don't need emergency aid. Not helping with an advocate. And then it'll ask what kind of report you have. So let's just say I have a police report. I don't have anything else. When was their crime reported? After 7 days. Did the victim experience sexual offenses? Let's just say yes. And then it'll populate what you could be eligible, the type of claim. So personal injury claim based on the answers you give. And then at the end, it will give you a summary report and then a link to directly apply on OVS. So it gives you a list of what you may be eligible for and the expenses and a link to OVS to apply. That was really fast. That's the victim compensation guide. Again, you can reach out to us if you have any questions. Our team is really seasoned with answering questions. Again, it was created with OVS, so they certainly know this area. And then the last section on our website is the Find Legal Forms, which is just linking out to like family law section. If you need help with custody or paternity, modifying support, we link out to fillable programs that you can fill out PDFs. It'll be easier to help you fill out those forms. And that was very fast.
Actually, I got to tell you, Jackie, it was right on point because we were going for a 12:30 ending time, so we weren't
Yes.
sure if we were going to make it, but you made it happen. So thank you for
Yes.
that. All of the links that these ladies shared this morning, this afternoon, they will be sent out to everybody in one email. We've been dropping them in the chat feature, which thank you for that, but everything will come out all at one time. We did have one more question in the chat about non-parents taking parents to court for child support, and that actually might be more my bailiwick, although I think everybody can answer this. And in New York State, you can do that if you've got custody or guardianship and you are caring for the child full time. A lot of kinship caregivers don't have a lot of luck with that, so they opt to go for something called the non-parent grant instead. But technically, to answer that question, you can do so if you have the child living with you and you have custody or guardianship. If you've got more questions on that, feel free to reach out to any of us, reach out to the navigator. We're happy to guide you through that. I don't see any more questions in the chat right now, which is pretty perfect because we are at 12:29, which means we made our time today. I want to give a big thank you to Haley, Alexia, and Jackie for sharing their expertise today. Again, all of this will be sent out via email. Thank you everybody for joining today. Please feel free to join us next month, August 15th. We will have the link to register coming in the next couple of days where we will have part 2 of Empire Justice Services. So thank you, everybody. Again, thank you for sharing your information and have a great day. We'll see you next month.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.